Oh,
Can you hear me?
yes.
Did me again? Okay, can you hear me now? Okay.
Good to hear you.
So good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. As usual, our little mantra starts with the slaughterhouse of failure is not in our destiny. We shall persevere until we succeed. Or, with a slight twist that Dan put on the other day, the slaughterhouse of failure is in our destiny if we choose to quit and not follow our decisions to reach our goal. We are choosing to fail. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of choice. So, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, we become what we become because of the way we choose and the way that we think about ourselves. So, our choices affect our thoughts, and our thoughts affect who we are, what we stand for, and the footprints that we leave behind. So I was doing a little bit of research for this call, and I came across a staggering statistic. We make 35,000 conscious decisions each day. The statistic I saw was that we make 35,000 conscious decisions a day. How many subconscious decisions a day do we make? That's roughly 2,000 decisions per hour, or one decision every 2 seconds. And each decision, of course, carries certain consequences that can be either good or bad. So this morning, while I was kind of scrolling through social media preparing for the call, Jerry Savage had a great post on Facebook, and it was that you have the choice to downgrade your dreams to match your reality, or you can make the conscious choice to upgrade your beliefs to match your decision. So, we probably all on this call heard, that some very successful people, they try to mitigate how many decisions they're making a day. There's a great story about Steve Jobs. The reason that Steve Jobs wore the same pair of jeans, the same pair of shoes, and the same black turtleneck every day was because that was one less decision that he had to make every day. His closet was filled with the same exact outfit. And so, the first thing he gets up in the morning, that's one less decision he has to make about what he's going to put on. And we've all been in that situation where we're getting ready to go to an event and we put on an outfit and we're like, I don't know if this is the right outfit. So we go change the outfit and then we change it again. So those are multiple decisions that we're having to make on something that really doesn't matter that much. So we need to, I'm a big proponent of mindfulness and living in the moment. And when we're more mindful of the decisions that we're making, we're going to make better decisions that are going to affect us more positively. So, we're faced with these myriad of choices. We may not always recognize their presence, but like it or not, we are constantly faced with this responsibility of choosing. There's no escaping that responsibility. So we have to be more conscious of our decisions, the decisions that we have to make. Everybody on this call made a decision when you got on this call. Am I going to have my camera on? Am I going to say hello this morning? Am I going to be distracted by my phone while I'm on this call? Am I going to be reading something rather than paying attention and being present for this call? So those are things that we don't normally think about, but we're constantly barraged with these decisions. And if we're not making the correct decisions, it affects everything. Lawrence, you there? You're muted.
On a lighter note, when you say, we make decisions about how we get dressed and what we're going to do, we often have some decisions made for us. When you decide to wear something and your wife says, are you going like that? You've chosen your clothes, but they're not altogether compliant with the thought that's going on. Are you going like that? So I wanted to also mention that a lot of the decisions that we make sometimes are spontaneous, and we don't think it through. And I was just thinking about, in one of the places that I have some lessons with, there's a very, very nice lady that has all kinds of tattoos. And she's actually young. And I said, wow, those tattoos are kind of like, outstanding. And she said, yes, she said, poor decisions when I was younger. And actually, we went into a conversation, and there was an entire conversation about the poor decisions her and her brother made. And her brother actually made some very, very poor decisions and got into all sorts of trouble. So the point I'm trying to make is that we sometimes, many times, make a decision and we don't think it through. If we take the case of even in government, we invaded Iraq, but we didn't think it through. What happened after that? We invaded Libya. And what happened after that? Chaos, whole mess, the price of gas went everywhere, unemployment, all these major catastrophic events that happened in the case of not seeing something through. We see that we make a decision, but we should see it all the way through, because otherwise we can suffer some really big consequences and fall down from that. So the first thing I just wanted to say was think it through. Whatever decisions we make, think it all the way through, right to the end, if possible.
And when you're an entrepreneur, you need to be more aware of your choices, right? When you work for somebody, those choices are going to be made for you. And so you're talking about the tattoos, Lawrence, and that brought to mind, there's a movie called We're the Millers. And in it, they meet this kid who has a tattoo across his chest, and it says no regrets. But regrets is spelled wrong. It's spelled R-A-G-R-E-T-S. And so the joke is, he says, the kid says, no regrets, that's my credo. And Jason Sudeikis, who is the lead in the movie, says, really, you have no regrets? And regrets is spelled wrong. So, the choices we make affect not only ourselves, but they also affect others around us. And an awareness of choice is the first step towards growth. We need to understand, it's critical that we understand the importance of our choices. And also, going back to mindfulness, the value of the present. By focusing on our current actions, living in the moment, we develop a certain mindfulness and can apply ourselves to do the very best job possible right now. Clarity of mind allows us to recognize the choices that we're making and deal with them in a positive and proactive manner. So to a great extent, our beliefs about ourselves and our own capabilities, as well as how we see the world around us and the forces at play, affect what we find possible in our own lives. So these beliefs also impact our choices, and our choices will shape our actions, and our actions will determine our results. So, being mindful, being in the moment, being cognizant of the decisions that we have to make as entrepreneurs is very important in our daily lives. So there's a psychological term called the butterfly effect. And the butterfly effect basically states that the minute changes in our lives can hugely impact events in the long run. So, things, as an entrepreneur, things like making that one more call, introducing the opportunity to that one more prospect, sending out that email or that video email to somebody can have a huge impact on what we're doing, because that last one may be the one that propels our business forward. So it's all about choices, being cognizant of those choices that we're making, that responsibility of choice and decision making that can have a huge impact on our overall business, on our overall well-being, on our financial security. And some choices, like our financial well-being, they ultimately affect members of our immediate family. So, as we grow financially, we're in a position to provide on a different level for those that we love. We make choices regarding values and how we balance our lives, that work-life balance component that we're all searching for. And these choices that we make will certainly impact our family and friends. How you treat others professionally will impact the results of your business team and what they're able to achieve. So the choices we make, this butterfly effect can affect a wide array of people in our lives. So we need to be cognizant of that, because the choices we make affect everyone around us.
So on that thing about affecting everyone around us, as you might know, Kari and I are in a very deep south in Italy, in a very depressed area. And the place is very poor, very depressed. And as looking around and we're asking questions to what people are thinking, the reason it's depressed is because, about 50 years ago, all the young people decided to go for it was an agricultural area. So they all went to look for the bright lights in Germany and in the US and around the world. So all the young people left, and generally older people are left, and it's depressed. But there are some young people, and there's a general apathy there. There's a general feeling of, throw your hands in the air and say, this is our lot, there's nothing more to do. So that is how some of the people are thinking. However, we also rented a little tuk-tuk, and there was a little guy called Peter, and we started to talk to him. He's 24, and he decided 4 years ago, well, first of all, as a kid, he was always on his bike, and he was passionate about seeing every part of this area where we are now, and to know about it and to study it, to know everything, how many, there's 60 million olive trees and all these kind of things, this information. And 4 years ago, he decided he was going to do something. He decided to buy a little Fiat 500, which is a Fiat 500, but the antique model. And he started driving around that. And today he's got 12 of those in his group, and he's attracted people from all over the world to come on a tour of this area. So he's made it a destination point where the people are going to learn about food, they're learning about winemaking, about olive making, and so on. So he started a business from something that was a passion for him, and that became a business. And therefore, it became very good. He became good at his business because he had a passion for it. But it was a decision to either accept a lot of being in this poor area and having the same mentality of stagnation that everybody else seems to have, or to say, my gosh, I can do something. And he started. And today he's got a website, and he's got people from all over the world coming. And it's a business. It's a destination point. And one of the things that I thought about was, all of these, there are many, 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 many abandoned farmhouses, and it's just a devastated area. And you look at this and you think, my gosh, this is like seeing an empty bottle. There's nothing in it. What are you going to do with it? Nothing. On the other hand, you can fill it. And this is a decision one can make, is to say, this is an empty bottle. I can either accept it as an empty bottle, there's nothing I can do about it, or you can fill it with some ideas of what we want to do. So in our business, we actually have the possibility of all the people that we invite into our business. They're like we're planting a little seed, and we've got to water the seed and nurture it and make the seed productive and make it multiply. And it depends on the decisions that we make, how we do this. If we are passionate about it and we believe in what we're doing and we're really sure about what we have, we know we can succeed. We know we can. People are succeeding. So it's a decision, a conscious decision about how and what we want to do to um, to be successful with our business. And this is, we know the long-term consequences of our decisions in building a business, because it's a people business. It's all about empathy. It's about people. It's about understanding. And the choices we have are, we can either choose to eat pizza, or we can choose to and accept that that's all we're going to eat, or we can choose to make a future and be able to look at the menu without even looking at the right side of what the price is, or where we go without looking at what the costs are. So it's our choice of how we want to live and how we want to build our business. And it's really a choice of what we have.
And every one of us on this call, right, at some point, we made the choice to take advantage of this opportunity. But just making the choice to be a part of this opportunity doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. So you need to choose whether you're going to be successful or you're going to choose to be a failure. And, you know, we create the future we want based on the choices that we make today and in the future. And I want to go back to that post that I read of Jerry's. Don't downgrade your dreams to match your reality. Upgrade your belief to match your vision. You know, what are your dreams? Make a choice about what your dreams are. Make a choice about what your reality is, what you want your reality to be. Make a choice about your belief to match your vision. And, you know, we can create that future if we choose to create that future. And these decisions that we make not only affect us personally, but they can affect us, you know, as a group, or affect us culturally. I was watching a documentary this week about the gypsies in Romania. And the gentleman, one of the gentlemen that they were interviewing said, oh, well, we're just gypsies. We're just not known for working hard. We don't like to work. That's just, you know, everybody knows that. You know, so that's a choice that they're making to perpetuate that belief about their culture. And our choices that we make affect us not only today, but affect us in the future. It affects our abilities and our choices in the future. You know, so, you know, just an example, if you feel out of control in a given situation, you either choose to withdraw and avoid the problems at hand, or you choose to meet them head on. You know, so this choice in this example leads you to escape from a challenge instead of confronting and possibly overcoming that challenge. So the degree to which you avoid or escape from problems impairs your ability to face, deal with, and grow from various challenges in your future. So these choices that we make today will prepare us for choices that we will be faced with in the future, right? So it's all about choice. And as the complexity of life evolves, you get to have that better butterfly effect. One choice builds on another, enabling you to handle increasingly difficult situations. And if I go back for just a minute and to that 35,000 decisions that we make each and every day, how are we handling those decisions? Are we conscious of those decisions? Are we living in the present moment? Are we mindful of those decisions that we have to make, of the choices that we have the ability to make each and every time that we are confronted with a choice? So, you know, being faced with a never-ending stream of decisions, we can choose to either crawl or we can choose to run. And, you know, small choices can have big consequences.
And actually, there's something as well there that, you know, sometimes we're kind of, I didn't say indoctrinated, but we are kind of convinced from the families or the people around us that we can't do this, we're not good enough for that, you'll never achieve this, you'll never achieve that. And we can buy into that. And that could be a huge limiting factor. And it takes a lot of courage to look in the mirror and say, I'm just not going to buy into that. I can, and I will, and I am capable of being successful, and shirk off all the negativity that comes around us. in our business, we're faced with that a lot. You know, the families come saying, oh, you know, this is not something you're going to succeed in. You know, Aunt Jemima didn't succeed at this and whatever. And it takes courage to be able to overcome that negative belief, if you like, and to be able to make conscious decisions, look in the mirror and give yourself a high five every day and say, I am amazing and I can and I will and I am doing it. Because that's one of the first steps that we need to do, is to indoctrinate ourselves about what we want. What is it that we want? And that we can achieve it. And the decisions that we take, we look all the way through it. And we then say, this is a decision that I'm going to live with. I'm going to focus on it and live with it. And I'm going to be, and am successful with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of days when I wake up, you know, especially after I've had a super productive day the previous day, and I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I don't feel like getting out of bed at 6 o'clock. But I get out of bed at 6 o'clock, right? Because that's what successful people do. They get up and they take action each and every single day. They're consistent and they're disciplined. And on our Tuesday night team call, we had a member of our team get on, and I don't recall seeing him previously. But we were talking about choice, and, you know, he's been in the business 3-4 months and hasn't really done anything. And, you know, he wasn't really engaged. He made the choice to not be engaged. And, you know, as a medical device rep, that I made that same choice when I first started this business. I'm like, I'm not getting on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday calls. I'm not doing this team call thing. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm used to doing my own thing. I'm used to being successful individually. But once I started being engaged, consistent, disciplined, and made the choice to actually be engaged, that's when things started to change for me. And, you know, this particular gentleman, you know, he made the choice a couple of weeks ago. He said, look, I'm going to get engaged. I'm going to start getting on these calls because they're helpful. They're impactful to me. And he's been making more sales calls and he's starting to see success. You know, he's got physicians interested. He placed a scanner in a practice, and, you know, so it's all about these choices that we make. You know, you have a choice to exercise. You don't feel like exercising, go exercise. You get up in the morning, you don't want to get out of bed, get out of bed. You don't want to make a bunch of phone calls today, make a bunch of phone calls today. Do the opposite in those situations. When you don't feel like doing something, that's when you need to have the discipline to do those things. And discipline's a choice. Consistency is a choice.
Discipline and consistency. If you're consistently doing something, you know you got to do it. There are days, like you just said, that you don't feel like doing it, but you're going to be consistent in doing it. And that will overcome a moment of not feel like doing something. By being consistent, you'll overcome that. And it's being disciplined to have the consistency to do that. And that will overcome the of
Michael just posted in the chat. The gentleman that I was talking about, he's placing another scanner today, 2 in the past 10 days. You know, that's what being engaged and choosing to be successful will do for you. And, you know, if you don't make the choices as leaders on this call, we're going to make the choices for you, right? If you choose not to engage, we're going to choose not to engage with you. So that's the butterfly effect again, right? So by you not being engaged, you're affecting our inherent leadership to engage with you. Because why would we waste, if you're not willing to invest the time in yourself, to make the choice to invest the time in yourself, why should we choose to invest the time to help you?
Yeah, so we also have a choice whether to see. We have a choice when we see how you are working. If you're working, we have a choice to say, well, we're going to work with this person, or this is not somebody we want to work with. So even everybody has choices about everything we do, and whether it's an action or a react. It's about choices. It's about
that's where it becomes, as a leader, that's where it becomes important to choose the correct people. We don't want everybody, right? When I first got into this business, I was like, I'm going to bring everybody into this business. But what I quickly found out was that even though people want to be part of this business, they don't necessarily choose to be successful in this business or be engaged or be disciplined. You know, so those people are the people that we don't want, right? Because they're making inherent, through this butterfly effect, they're making the inherent choices for us, right? And then we in turn have to make that choice whether we're going to engage with them or not. So we want to be, you know, we want to make the choice to find the right people to join our teams. We don't want everybody, we want the right people.
Yep. Time is the most precious thing we have. And if we don't use our own choice of who we want to work with, who we believe will have the results according to their work ethic, then, you know, it's our choice as well. So anyway,
We also make a conscious choice to show genuine interest in those people that we're talking to, whether it's a physician or a medical device rep or, you know, a member of our team. We need to have a genuine interest in them, and that's from Jerry Savage's book, The 4 Pillars of Sales. You know, if we're not showing genuine interest, and by genuine interest, I mean, you know, learn something about their family, learn something about their business, learn something about their extracurricular activities, show genuine interest, learn something about the pain that they have in their business and try and solve that problem. We don't always have to choose to go in and sell something. We can choose to show genuine interest and build a relationship with that person. And a lot of times that may lead to a business opportunity. So by choosing to show genuine interest, we're cultivating that relationship, and people buy from people that they like. If they're not buying from you, maybe they don't like you because you're not showing genuine interest. You're just seen as somebody who's trying to sell them something. So choose to show some genuine interest in those that you're engaging with on a daily basis. A friend of mine that lives up the street, he's in the pre-need funeral business. They sell pre-need funeral policies. And that's what he does. And I was talking to him last night. We were having a cocktail around the fire pit, and we do that once or twice a week, and we just throw ideas around and talk about, you know, what are you doing in your business to be successful? You know, it's vice versa. And one thing that he told me that he does is he sends, whenever he schedules a Zoom call with a prospect, with a funeral director, he sends them a mug, a Yeti coffee mug. They get it the day before their Zoom call. And, you know, he sends a message along. Hey, thank you very much for scheduling a call. I just wanted to send you something to keep your coffee warm while we're having a conversation. You know, it's things like that that set you apart from every other person in sales, in business, every other entrepreneur. So think about how you can show, you know, that's showing genuine interest, right? You're genuinely interested. You're showing them, hey, you're taking time out of your busy schedule to get on a Zoom call with me. I want to make sure your coffee's hot while we're talking. You know, it's a little tiny thing. It's a little tiny choice, but that tiny choice, that minute choice, could be the difference.
Yeah, well, that's empathy, and it's about us being able to help solve other people's problems, and by doing so, we're helping ourselves. It's why what goes around comes around. So yeah, it's about empathy. It's about being able to really understand the other people, the people we're talking with, and how we can help them. So
Awesome. Well, it's 10 o'clock. Anybody have any stories? Anybody have any stories of choices that you've made that have had a huge impact on you personally, professionally, financially, before we wrap it up?
I have a rather, controversial type of statement to make. You're going, oh crap, what's Trainer going to say? I want to thank Cash and Sean and Michael and Ron and a guy named Zoom user, all of whom showed their faces on this call. Everybody else decides to put up their profile picture. And I'm not trying to be, negative. What I want you to know is we all make a choice. Are we going to be engaged in this call? And are we going to let everyone see who we are? Even if you're doing the dishes, it's okay. But I do think it's better if we're all on the call, in the call. And so much for that. The other thing is, you were talking about having a genuine interest in somebody so they don't think you're just selling them. I'd say the vast majority of people we're trying to partner with. And a person's not going to partner with you unless they trust you and they feel you have a genuine interest in them. And so I always think of it as looking for a partner, not looking for someone to sell something to.
100%.
Good point. Yeah.
No, when I was still in medical device sales, we were required to attend these calls.
Oh, look at Scalia.
And I guarantee 98% of the people that were on the call weren't showing their faces because they were doing other things. They were probably in another room watching TV.
That's
so
true.
Make the choice to show your face, be engaged, show us that you're engaged. And, what that provides to Lawrence and I is we can actually see you, right? And we can make the choice to engage differently based on what we're seeing, because we'll be able to see your facial expressions. We can see, different things. I'm looking at everybody on this call because I want to see if people are paying attention. And for me, I had that was a huge breakthrough on our Tuesday night call when, Michael, what's the gentleman's name that I was talking about? And is Michael still on? He might have jumped off, but anyway, when he got on and he said, these calls are really helpful for helping to keep me engaged and keep me disciplined and consistent. And all of these things that we talked about, for me, that was huge. I got chills because I'm like, we're helping somebody.
That's right. Well, you and Lawrence both put so much into this and into us. I think it's good to try to give a little bit back to you, and just being totally engaged in these calls is a part of that. And growing our business is another part. You get to recognize, hey, maybe I gave them a little information that might have helped them really grow that business,
Yeah. And, for me, I want everybody on this call to be successful.
Yep.
And it's for personal reasons. If you're successful, we're all going to be more successful. It's a butterfly effect, right? If you go out and you place a scanner and you come back next week and you tell us that you placed a scanner in a physician's practice and they put 50 patients in 2 weeks on product, that affects all of us. That gets us all re-energized. That gets us all pumped up. That gets us reinvigorated, right? Because as entrepreneurs, there are days where you're down in the dumps and you're like, what am I doing? What am I doing something wrong? What can I do differently? And then somebody comes on like this gentleman on our Tuesday night call, and he's like, look, I chose to be engaged and I chose to be consistent. And now I'm seeing results. And I'm like, that's fantastic. That gets me more energized. That gets me more pumped up about this business.
Who was that?
I can't remember his name. Michael dropped off.
Oh,
but that's why it's important for you, if you have not been to the healthcare forum in Provo, November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That's one of the reasons it's important to be there, because you're going to hear success story after success story, and you're going to be hearing from the leaders in this business that are successful in this business. And that's going to have a butterfly effect on you.
Jim, the reason why my camera was off is because I didn't want to steal your thunder wearing the same color shirt as me today.
yeah, but you're dodging cars. I'm just sitting in my office.
No cars. I go where the cars can't go, brother. I go where the cars can't go. Number two, what I've done for my business is I've multitasked. As you can see, I'm on my bike here when I listen to you guys on Friday at 9:30. And on Tuesdays, I'm actually lifting in the gym while Dan's doing the call. It limits my participation, but why not be able to do both things? It kind of compresses time. The last thing that I do is when I hit a milestone or something that I decided that I wanted to achieve throughout the week, I reward myself with something positive. So I encourage everyone here So set a goal for the week, for the month, and when you hit it, reward yourself. What are you doing when you reward yourself? You're using the same reward system that could be there for negative behavior and putting into reinforcing a positive behavior. So
Yeah.
that's my answer for you, Dan. Thank you guys for so much for doing this. Lauren, safe travels. And Jim, I'll see you on the next call.
It's the Pavlov response, right? When you reward yourself for doing something positive, it's going to lead to more positive things, right? You get that positive reward, and so you're constantly chasing that dopamine that you get from rewarding yourself. So, don't look for others to reward you. Reward yourself. All right,
Correct.
that's
There's
enough.
my reward stuff right now. It's a tiramisu.
Triggered. I'm triggered. I'm triggered.
It
All
looks
right,
too good.
everybody.
All right.
Thank you
Thanks
for the
so much
call,
for your
guys. Very
time.
good call.
Have a good one.
Guys,
Have a great weekend, everybody. Make
Thank
good choices.
bye.
Thank
All
you.
right, see you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dan.